If you look at what you have in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. I love this quote by Oprah Winfrey. You're about to hear a sample of my new book, Love the One You're With. I'm Lee Ellis. I hope you enjoy it.
Chapter 7. Creating the Life You Want. If you look at what you want in life, you'll always have more. If you look at what you don't have in life, you'll never have enough. Oprah Winfrey. Tammy spent a lot of time thinking about the changes she needed Chad to make so their marriage could improve. She wanted him to spend more time engaging with her after work rather than getting on his iPad or watching TV. She wanted him to eat healthier because it was so hard for her to lose weight when he eats anything he wants. She wanted him to start helping more with the household chores. She wanted more physical affection. Tammy had a coworker named Elizabeth who always seemed happy and always had good things to say about her husband and her marriage. One day when they were talking, Tammy told Elizabeth she must feel really lucky that she met the perfect man and therefore her marriage is so easy. Elizabeth told her that her marriage has not been without its problems, but they have both worked on themselves and things have gotten much better. Tammy was confused but intrigued by the concept of working on yourself to make your marriage better. She asked Elizabeth what she could do to work on herself. Elizabeth told her that there are a lot of things, but the first place she would start is to meditate for 15 minutes a day. Elizabeth didn't give her any rules, but just said to shut her eyes and set the timer on her phone. Tammy decided to take Elizabeth's advice. After all, she could definitely spare 15 minutes a day, and she didn't have anything to lose. Tammy found it very difficult at first and thought the time just seemed to drag, but she stuck with it and found that it got much easier. Tammy was meditating just 15 minutes each morning, but she started to notice that it really shifted her mood throughout the day. Something else happened that she wasn't expecting. She stopped feeling annoyed when Chad came home and got on his iPad. She had a more loving energy toward him, and he started engaging with her more and more. She started feeling connected to him again, and sometimes even had a feeling like she was in love with life when she was with him. She also stopped blaming him for the fact that she couldn't lose weight, and she stopped being so mean to herself. Eventually, she noticed that she was feeling happier on a more consistent basis. Her marriage was looking better every day, and she even dropped a few pounds without trying. Besides meditating, Tammy started spending time outside of work with Elizabeth. They went to yoga classes, had lunch, and started walking together. Tammy realized that she had never been around anyone who was positive. In the past, she always sat around complaining about her husband and all the things they were not working out in her life. But Elizabeth seemed to bring out the best in her. She found herself talking about the improvements she had been seeing in her marriage and her life. After spending time with Elizabeth, she felt uplifted and optimistic about her future. When she went home, she noticed that she and Chad got along better. Change yourself to improve your relationship. Do you ever find yourself thinking about the things your partner needs to change so that your marriage will improve? If the answer is yes, don't feel bad because almost everyone does. But you cannot do anything to change your partner, and your attention to the things you want to change magnifies them and makes you unhappy. The good news is that you can change the way you feel right now by paying attention to the positive aspects of your partner. As you read in Chapter 6, the law of attraction is always working. When you pay attention to the positive things in your life, you feel better, and the universe responds by bringing more positive things into your life. For many years, I explored self-help techniques, and I dabbled in several of them. They did make me feel better, but only up to a point. Then something I read in a Jack Kornfield book really resonated with me, and it changed my life. He said that there are many techniques you can use to make yourself more balanced and happier, but it is very important that you pick one and stick with it. He said the mistake many people make is trying to do too much, which makes them not stick to any one thing, so they never actually receive the full benefits. The other thing that I want you to think about is that it is important to start doing something as a daily practice. I have seen many people who learn techniques but plan to use them only when something bad happens and they are right in the middle of it. The problem with this is that they forget to do it when they are right in the middle of the problem. Consider this. Do people who are going to run a marathon start running on the day of the race? Of course, this would not result in finishing the marathon. They have to train for several months, then they are ready on the day of the race. It is the same thing with starting a daily practice that will help you feel happier. When a new problem arises, your daily practice becomes your go-to to help you feel better. Meditation. One technique you could start right away is meditating. Like Tammy, you might find that it improves your mood in your marriage. The best time to meditate is right when you get up in the morning, but it would be beneficial to do it any time of the day. There are several ways to do meditation, but you can just do what Tammy did, which is close your eyes and set a timer for 15 minutes. Paying attention to your breath or a sound in the room can be helpful. I know 15 minutes doesn't seem like a lot of time, but many people find it very difficult at first. If you are one of those people, know that it gets easier and just keep doing it. If you find it too difficult to start meditating on your own, there are many meditation apps you can download on your phone or computer. Some of them have music, guided visualizations, or just someone instructing you to keep focusing your attention on your breath. After I read the Jack Kornfield book I mentioned earlier, I decided to invest in a meditation program called Centerpoint, which uses HoloSync technology to change your brainwaves. It is more of a time commitment because it is a 1-hour meditation, but I would highly recommend it. They say the best time to do it is right when you wake up or in the middle of the day, but I would go to bed early and listen to it in bed. By the time it ended, I was ready to sleep like a baby. This program comes with a book that will explain what is happening to your brain when you listen to the meditation with headphones. The short explanation is that it balances the left and right hemispheres of your brain by creating new neural pathways. If an hour seems like way too much of a commitment, but you want to use a technology that will automatically put you in a deeper brainwave state, look for a meditation that uses binaural beats. Binaural beats automatically put your brain in the theta brainwave. This is the brainwave you are in during hypnosis and a brainwave you will get in during meditation once you have been practicing it for a while. Your brain does not normally go into the theta brainwave unless you are sleeping. Going into the theta brainwave causes you to feel very relaxed and rejuvenated. It decreases depression and anxiety, improves memory, and calms the mind. It helps you fall asleep easier and have a deeper, more peaceful sleep so that you wake up feeling refreshed in the morning. It causes your body to release hormones that increase health and longevity. If you want to read more about the benefits of the theta brainwave or the binaural beats meditations, you can find a ton of information online. Another type of meditation that can be very peaceful is called a loving kindness meditation. You can find a guided one, but the idea of it is simple. You start by closing your eyes and focusing on the love you feel in your heart. Sometimes it helps to think of a person or place you love the most. Then you imagine that the love you feel in your heart is expanding with every heartbeat out into your entire body. Then you expand the love into the whole room. You expand the love out into the entire house or building, then the entire city. You expand the love out into the entire state, the entire country, the entire continent, then out to the entire earth. Lastly, you expand the love out to the entire universe. This process only takes a few minutes, but you can sit in the loving energy for as long as you like. Imagine how peaceful the world would be if everyone did a loving kindness meditation every day. Movement to improve your energy. If the thought of sitting quietly just does not appeal to you, you might want to try Qigong, which combines body movement, breathing, and meditating. I have heard that it can be very complex, but I learned a version that is quite simple called Spring Forest Qigong. You can buy a video and follow along until you learn the entire sequence. Starting a daily Qigong practice will have similar benefits to sitting meditation. You will feel more balanced, less stressed, and just generally happier. When I was practicing this on a regular basis, if I came home in a bad mood, my husband would say, "You didn't do Qigong today, did you?" He was almost always right. Tap out your negative emotions. Another technique you can learn and start using to feel better right away is EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, or tapping. I'm going to warn you that this technique feels very silly, but doing it can completely change your life, so it's worth it. When doing this technique, you focus on something that is upsetting to you while you tap on meridian points on the top half of your body. It seems too good to be true. But what happens is that whatever you are focusing on loses its emotional charge. In other words, it no longer upsets you and only takes a few minutes. But the best part about it is that when you tap something out, your feelings about it are actually gone forever. My clients don't usually believe me until they leave my office and realize they really are not upset about it anymore at all. I was doing this way before I really understood how it works, but now I have a scientific explanation for it. When you are thinking about something that upsets you, your body secretes cortisol, the stress hormone, and adrenaline. When you start tapping on those very specific meridian points while continuing to focus on the same subject, it signals your brain that you are safe, and your body starts secreting dopamine and serotonin. Your brain starts to make a connection between the negative thought and safety, which creates a new neural pathway in your brain. This makes the negative emotional charge completely go away. If you are interested in learning more about this technique, you can find information online. One great source is the tapping solution. I also recommend looking up Brad Yates on YouTube and following along with one of his many tapping videos. I often recommend that my clients do Brad's videos called Tap O the Morning and Tap O the Evening. The first one helps you tap out any reason why you wouldn't have a great day, and the second one helps you tap out any negative thing that happened that day so you can let it go. Limit your time watching the news. Another thing I highly recommend is to limit the amount of time you watch the news and pay attention to social media regarding all the bad things that are happening in our world. Watching the news keeps everyone in a constant state of fight or flight. Our world is not actually as bad as they portray in the news, but the news gives all its attention to the negative things that are happening. This trains your mind to only focus on the bad things in your life. Take a moment to consider the implication of the fact that everyone is paying attention to the traumatic events in our world. Remember the law of attraction? It also ties into something I will explain in the next chapter, which is the collective unconscious. We are all plugged into a fear-based mentality because that is what is portrayed in the news. I know, we all have to stay informed, right? That is something that was ingrained into me by my parents, so I know you might have similar beliefs. But I challenge you to greatly limit or turn off the news for just a couple of weeks and see if you start feeling happier. The fact that so many people are plugged into the fear is actually the thing that keeps so many negative things happening in the world. Taking care of yourself could save your marriage. How does it make you feel to think of taking more time for yourself? Like I have mentioned in previous chapters, we are taught that we have to spend more time taking care of other people or we are being selfish. Some of my clients have a really hard time unlearning what their parents and the world have taught them about being selfish. But the truth is, if you put yourself first, you will be happy. If you are happy, you put a more loving energy into everything you do, which makes you put more loving energy into your interactions with your husband or wife. When you put out a more loving energy, you have a healthier marriage. This is not the same as spending more time with your spouse. If you spend less time with them, but the time spent is coming from a more loving energy, it will have much more benefits to both of you than if you spend more time with a resentful energy. Let down your wall. How would it make you feel if I asked you to start being more vulnerable? That word used to have a strong negative charge for me and several of my clients. But vulnerability has gotten a bad rap. When you let down your wall and allow yourself to be vulnerable with your partner, it allows you to feel closer and more connected. If you have a hard time with this concept, which I imagine you do, I recommend watching Brené Brown's TED Talk on vulnerability. You would also likely benefit from some deeper work regarding this subject, which I will talk about in the next 2 chapters. Here are some things to remember about this chapter. Choose a daily practice that resonates with you and make it a priority in your life. Focus on the positive things in your life and talk with people about them. Redefine the word selfish for yourself and start putting yourself first. Limit time watching the news and/or focusing on the media. Let down your wall and allow yourself to be more vulnerable and maybe do deeper work on this one.